Before you fall asleep tonight, there is something important you should understand. This is not a story about war. Not about kings or battles or heroes. This is about an ordinary day. And if you lived that day in medieval times, you would likely not survive it. The old man sits quietly in his wooden chair. The lamp beside him gives off a soft yellow glow. A few children sit on the floor wrapped in blankets, listening. Outside, the night is still. People imagine the past is strong, the old man says slowly. They think humans were tougher back then. He pauses. But toughness did not protect them. He breathes in gently. Let me show you what a normal day looked like. Morning comes without sound. No clocks. No alarms. People wake when the light reaches their eyes. The town is small. Stone houses stand close together. The streets are narrow, made of dirt and broken rock. Along the sides of the road, waste flows openly. Animals walk freely. People step around them without noticing. The smell is constant. It never leaves. Clean water is rare. So rare that most people avoid drinking it. They believe water makes the body weak. Instead, they drink weak beer or diluted wine. Even children drink it. The old man's voice slows. Bathing, he says, is something people fear. They believe washing opens the body to sickness. Weeks pass without cleaning. Months pass. Skin grows thick with dirt and oil. Insects live there comfortably. Now imagine this. You wake up. You feel fine. You go about your work. At some point, you get a small cut. A piece of wood scratches your hand. A thorn breaks the skin. Nothing dramatic. Nothing alarming. Today you would wash it. You would forget it. Back then, that cut could quietly kill you. There are no antibiotics, no understanding of bacteria. Infection comes slowly. The skin darkens. Pain deepens. Doctors believe illness comes from bad air. So they close windows. They trap heat. They trap sickness. The old man leans forward slightly. People didn't know what was killing them, he says. And because of that, they couldn't stop it. A farmer works all morning. By afternoon, he feels cold. By night, his body burns with fever. By morning, he does not wake up. No panic follows. No shock. This happens often. Death is familiar here. It lives quietly beside everyone. Life in medieval times is not dramatic. It is slow, uncomfortable, unforgiving. Survival is not about strength. It is about luck. The old man closes his eyes for a moment. The children remain silent. This, he says softly, was a normal day. The lamp flickers gently. And what I've told you so far, he adds after a pause, is only the beginning. The old man does not raise his voice. He never needs to. The children lean a little closer without realizing it. The room feels warmer now. The night outside feels farther away. In medieval times, the old man continues softly, danger didn't arrive suddenly. It waited. He rests one hand on the arm of the chair. Let's say you survived the morning. You avoided sickness. You avoided injury. You lived through the first half of the day. He pauses. That did not mean you were safe. Food is prepared slowly, not carefully, slowly. Meat hangs in open air for days. Flies land on it freely. Bread is hard and rough. Vegetables are rarely washed. No one knows about germs. No one suspects them. Hunger is constant, but so is caution. People eat what they can. They cannot afford to be picky. The old man's voice drops slightly. Many meals made people sick, he says. But sickness was expected. Stomach pain, weakness, vomiting. These are not emergencies. They are normal. If you are strong, you recover. If you are not, you fade. Children often fade. A child laughs in the morning. By night, the laughter is gone. By the next day, so is the child. The town does not stop. Work must continue. Life in medieval times moves forward because it has to. There is no other choice. The old man shifts in his chair. Now imagine night, he says. There is very little light. Candles are expensive. Fires are dangerous. Most people sleep early. They share rooms. Sometimes they share beds. The air is heavy. Breathing feels thick. Rats move freely in the darkness. They are not feared. They are accepted. No one knows what they carry. The old man pauses longer this time. A cough begins, he says. It sounds harmless. A few days pass. The cough deepens. Breathing becomes painful. People believe cold air causes illness. So they close everything. The room grows warmer. The sickness grows stronger. By the time someone realizes they are truly ill, there is nothing to be done. The old man looks at the floor as he speaks. Most people never understood why they lived, or why they died. They believed fate decided everything. God, luck, the stars. Not bacteria, not infection, not hygiene. Those ideas are still centuries away. He exhales slowly. A normal day did not feel dangerous, he says. That's why it was. You didn't fight monsters. You didn't face enemies. You simply lived. And living was enough to end you. The children remain silent. The fire settles into a steady rhythm. The old man leans back again. And tomorrow, he says gently, we will talk about what happened when sickness truly arrived. The lamp glows softly. But for now, he adds in a calm, steady voice, you should rest. The old man waits until the room is completely quiet. Even the children's breathing has slowed. In medieval times, he says gently, sickness did not arrive like a storm. It arrived like a whisper. He rests his hands calmly on the arms of the chair. One person coughs. Another feels weak. A third does not wake up. At first, no one connects the moments together. Life continues. Markets open. Animals are fed. Bread is baked. People believe illness is personal, a punishment, bad luck. They do not understand that sickness can move. The old man's voice remains steady. When real disease entered a town, he says, it did not announce itself. It traveled on hands, on clothes, on shared cups, on breath. Homes are small. Families sleep close together. Warmth is shared. So is infection. A mother becomes tired. She keeps working. A father feels pain in his chest. He ignores it. Stopping means hunger. Stopping means falling behind. The old man pauses. Rest was a luxury, he says. And luxury was rare. Soon, several people are ill. Fever spreads quietly. Skin grows pale. Eyes lose focus. The town begins to notice. But by then, it is already too late. Doctors are called. They wear no protection. They believe illness must be released. So they bleed the sick. They cut veins. They drain strength. Sometimes the patient grows quiet afterward. Doctors believe this means success. The old man breathes slowly. Many people died from the treatment, he says. Not the disease. Bodies grow weaker. Immune systems fail. Infection spreads faster. No one understands why. People pray more. They burn herbs. They hang charms in doorways. None of it helps. At night, the town sounds different. Coughing echoes through walls. Moaning drifts through open spaces. Sleep becomes difficult. Fear settles in, but softly. There is no screaming panic. Just exhaustion. The old man looks toward the lamp. Death was not dramatic, he says. It was common. When someone dies, the body is removed quickly. Burial cannot wait. The living must keep moving. Children watch these moments closely. They learn early that life is fragile. They do not question it. It is normal. The old man shifts slightly in his chair. Imagine waking up each morning, he says, not knowing who will still be alive by night. This is how medieval people lived. Not in constant terror, but in constant uncertainty. And slowly, that uncertainty became routine. The town does not collapse. It thins. Fewer voices. More empty beds. Those who survive do not celebrate. They simply continue. Because tomorrow is another normal day. The old man lowers his voice even more. And that, he says, is how people learn to live with death. The fire crackles softly. The room feels still. In the next part, he adds quietly, I will tell you what happened when the worst sickness of all arrived. He closes his eyes. But not yet. For now, he says, let your body rest. The old man opens his eyes slowly. The fire has burned lower now. The children are quieter than before. There came a time, he says softly, when sickness stopped being invisible. He folds his hands together. For generations, people accepted death as part of life. But one sickness changed everything. He pauses. It did not arrive as a surprise. It arrived as a certainty. People began to notice patterns. Entire households falling silent. Entire streets empty. Entire villages changing overnight. This sickness did not care about strength. It did not care about age. It did not care about prayers. It moved faster than understanding. The old man's voice remains calm. People called it many things, he says. Bad air. God's anger. The end of days. Today we know it as plague. But back then, it had no name that could explain it. People woke up feeling fine. By afternoon, dark swellings appeared beneath their skin. By night, breathing became difficult. By morning, there was no breath at all. Families did not know what to do. They stayed close to the sick. They held hands. They whispered prayers. And in doing so, they spread it further. The old man leans back slightly. Love became dangerous, he says gently. Cities tried to protect themselves. Gates were closed. Travel was banned. But sickness does not respect walls. Rats moved freely. Fleas traveled quietly. No one noticed them. People believed the smell carried death. So they burned incense. They wore flowers around their necks. None of it worked. Doctors wore long coats and strange masks. They believed herbs could filter the air. They believed the beak protected them. It did not. The town changed. Markets grew silent. Church bells rang constantly. Graves filled faster than they could be dug. And still, people woke each morning. They fed animals. They swept floors. They cooked meals. Life continued. Not because people were brave, but because stopping meant surrender. The old man lowers his voice. Most people didn't panic, he says. They adapted. They learned not to touch, not to linger, not to ask questions. Children grew up surrounded by loss. They learned not to cry for too long. Tears did not change anything. This sickness did not end the world, but it reshaped it. Entire family lines vanished. Skills were lost, stories ended, and those who survived carried the memory quietly. The old man looks at the children. After the sickness passed, he says, people did not celebrate. They rebuilt. They worked. They moved forward, because they had no other choice. The fire popped softly. In the next part, the old man says calmly, I will tell you what life looked like after survival. He exhales slowly. How people lived when they knew how easily everything could disappear. He settles back into his chair. But for now, he adds gently, rest your eyes. You are safe here. The old man remains still for a long moment. The fire is quieter now, glowing instead of burning. When the sickness finally passed, he says softly, people expected the world to feel different. He shakes his head slightly. But it didn't. The streets were emptier. The houses quieter. But the days still arrived the same way. Morning light. Cold air. Work waiting. Those who survived did not feel lucky. They felt tired. Entire families were gone. Familiar voices never returned. And yet, life continued. The old man's voice slows even more. Survival was not relief, he says. It was responsibility. Fields still needed tending. Animals still needed feeding. Children still needed growing. People stepped into roles they were never meant to fill. A son became a father overnight. A child learned trades meant for adults. There was no time to grieve properly. Grief was heavy. Work was heavier. The world after sickness felt quieter but sharper. Every sound mattered. Every cough was noticed. People became careful in small ways. They avoided strangers. They watched each other closely. But they still did not understand why it happened. Knowledge had not arrived yet. The old man looks toward the children. They didn't know how close they were, he says, to understanding the truth. Cleanliness slowly began to matter, not because of science, but because of fear. People noticed patterns. Those who washed more lived longer. Those who stayed apart survived. They didn't know why, but they remembered results. Change arrived quietly. Bathing became less feared. Fresh air became less suspicious. Crowded spaces felt uncomfortable. The world shifted slowly, not because of intelligence, but because of memory. The old man exhales. History does not move fast, he says. It moves when pain forces it to. Generations passed, each one a little safer than the last, each one still fragile. People still died young. Children still vanished. Illness still came. But something had changed. Hope existed, not loudly, but quietly. The old man leans back into his chair. People did not feel protected, he says. They felt cautious, and that caution saved lives. The fire gives off a soft crackle. The children's eyes grow heavy. Most of history, the old man says gently, is not made of great moments. It is made of ordinary days that people survived. He closes his eyes briefly. And the reason you are here tonight, he adds softly, is because enough of them did. The room feels calm, safe. In the next part, he murmurs, I will tell you something important. How close you still are to those ordinary days. He settles deeper into the chair. But not now. Now, he whispers, sleep. The old man does not move right away. The room feels suspended in time. You might think, he says quietly, that those days are far away from you. He opens his eyes just enough to look at the children. But history does not disappear, he continues. It settles. He rests his hands together. After sickness reshaped the medieval world, people did not suddenly become wise. Mistakes were repeated. Warnings were ignored. Because memory fades. Generations grew up without seeing mass illness, without empty streets, without silence. And when fear fades, care fades with it. The old man's voice remains gentle. People return to old habits, he says. Crowding, ignoring sickness, believing tomorrow would always come. Life became busy again. Cities grew larger. Trade expanded. People traveled farther. And with them, so did disease. History does this often. It teaches a lesson, then waits. Centuries pass. New tools appear. New knowledge arrives. But the human body stays the same. Fragile. Vulnerable. Temporary. The old man pauses. Modern people believe danger is loud, he says. But real danger is quiet. It arrives without drama. Without warning. It hides in routine. In a cough that feels harmless. In a fever that seems small. In a day that feels normal. The children listen without moving. You live safer lives now, the old man admits. Cleaner water. Better medicine. More knowledge. He nods slowly. But safety does not mean invincibility. History does not repeat exactly, but it echoes. And those echoes are always closest. When we stop listening, the old man leans back. Medieval people were not foolish, he says. They simply did not know. And when they learned, it was through loss. The room grows quieter. Your world feels stable, he says softly. Their world felt stable too, until it wasn't. He allows a long pause to settle. But tonight, he adds gently, This is not meant to frighten you. The fire glows warmly. It is meant to remind you how rare it is to rest safely, to sleep without fear of illness, to wake without uncertainty. The old man's voice drops to a near whisper. You are living in a moment many before you never had. Silence fills the room. And knowing that, he says, makes rest easier. He closes his eyes again. In the next part, he murmurs, I will tell you why remembering the past can help you sleep more deeply. He exhales slowly. But not yet. For now, he says softly, let history fade, and let sleep arrive. The old man's breathing is slow now. Not asleep, just steady. Most people think history is meant to be learned, he says quietly. But sometimes it is meant to be felt. The children are barely moving. The fire no longer crackles. It hums. In medieval times, he continues, people did not reflect on their lives the way you do. There was no time for that. Days were short. Energy was limited. Survival took everything. So when night came, they slept deeply. Not because life was peaceful, but because exhaustion was complete. The old man rests his head back. Sleep was not a luxury, he says. It was recovery. Bodies healed in darkness. Minds shut down to protect themselves. There were no stories before bed. No soft lights. No comfort. Just silence. Or fear. Or both. And yet sleep came anyway. Because the body demanded it. He pauses. Today you are surrounded by comfort, he says. But your mind stays awake. Thoughts spin. Worries repeat. The past and future collide. Medieval people did not have that problem. They worried during the day. At night, they surrendered. The old man smiles faintly. In that way, he says, they rested better than many people do now. The room feels heavier. Safer. History reminds us, he continues softly, that the body knows how to rest. You do not need to force it. You do not need to guide it. You only need to allow it. The fire dims slightly. Imagine, he says, you are lying in a small stone room. No plans for tomorrow. No expectations. Just breathing. Just darkness. The world outside is quiet. And if it is not, you cannot change it. So your body lets go. The old man lowers his voice even further. You are allowed to do the same, he says. There is nothing you need to solve tonight. Nothing you need to remember. Nothing you need to prepare for. History has already done its work. It carried you here. The room fades. The past survived so you could rest. He whispers. And now, it's time to sleep. The old man does not speak again. Only the sound of breathing remains. Slow. Even calm. The old man's voice is softer now than before. It barely rises above the quiet of the room. This is the part of the night, he says gently, when stories no longer need words. The fire has settled into a low glow. The children are still. Breathing is slow and even. In medieval times, he continues, people did not think about sleep. They fell into it. After long days of labor, after hunger, after cold and fear, sleep arrived like a deep tide. It carried the body away. No dreams were chased. No thoughts were held. The mind simply let go. The old man pauses for several seconds. Your body still remembers how to do this, he says quietly. Even now, even after centuries, your muscles know how to soften. Your breath knows how to slow. You do not have to teach them. The room feels warm, protected. In the past, the old man murmurs, night was not something to fill. It was something to enter. Darkness was complete. Silence was heavy. And within that silence, the body repaired itself. Bones rested. Skin healed. The mind went quiet. No one judged sleep. No one rushed it. It came when it came. The old man's words stretch farther apart. Imagine, he whispers, lying beneath a thick blanket. Stone walls around you. No light, no sound, nothing expected of you. You are not a name, not a role, not a story, just a body, resting. The fire's glow fades even lower. History carried countless people into nights like this, the old man says softly. They slept without knowing the future, without worrying about tomorrow, and they rested anyway. You can do the same. There is nothing more you need from this story, nothing more to understand. The past has finished speaking. Now it waits. Your breathing slows naturally. Your shoulders loosen. The old man does not rush his final words. Sleep, he says gently, is older than fear, older than history, older than memory. It knows you. The room grows quieter. Let it take you, he whispers. And then he stops speaking. Only the quiet remains, only rest. The room is still, calm, almost weightless. The fire glows low, its light softening into gentle shadows that stretch across the floor. The old man sits quietly in his chair, leaning slightly, his presence calm, deliberate, unhurried. Sleep, he whispers softly, is not something you chase. It is not a task, not a duty. It comes naturally, whether you are ready or not. He tilts his head, looking past the children, past the flickering embers, into the quiet that has settled over the room. His voice blends with the shadows, soft as the night air. Think of history not as a story, he continues. Not as names or events, not as lessons. Think of it as a presence, quiet, persistent, carrying countless people into nights like this, and continuing to do so. He pauses. The crackle of the fire fades. The air itself feels softer, warmer, heavier with calm. In medieval times, he whispers, people did not worry about tomorrow. They surrendered to nightfall. Sleep arrived fully, deeply, completely. The children lie still. Even their breathing slows. The room feels warmer, softer, safer. Breath, the old man murmurs. Do not force it. Do not control it. Let it rise and fall naturally, as it always has. Silence stretches across the room. Names fade. Faces vanish. Stories dissolve. What remains is calm, and the quiet strength it brings. Do you feel it? He asks softly. The heaviness in your arms and legs? The softness behind your eyes? The gentle pull of quiet that draws everything inward? His words drift slowly like smoke from a dying ember, leaving only the weightless stillness behind. Sleep, he whispers, is older than fear, older than worry, older than memory. It has carried generations, protecting bodies, quieting minds. Even as the world outside raged, your mind begins to drift. Thoughts slow, edges blur. The events of the day float past, weightless, melting into calm. The past has ended for you tonight, he says, and you rest with it. Nothing is required. No planning, no effort, no thought. Your shoulders relax further. Muscles loosen. Your eyelids grow heavy. Do not resist, he murmurs. Do not fight the quiet. Let it take you. Let it carry you. The fire dims. Shadows shift softly and settle. Time itself feels suspended. You are here, safe, still, resting. The old man no longer speaks, yet his presence fills the room. Your breathing slows, deepens. Each exhale carries tension away. Each inhale brings gentle warmth. Rest now, he whispers. The world can wait. The past has done its work. You have done nothing, yet it is enough. The room grows stiller. The children are fully relaxed. The fire is little more than a soft glow. Even the air seems to sleep. You sink further into blankets, into the mattress, into the night itself. The old man's voice drifts one last time, soft as a breath. You are safe. You are still. You are resting. Sleep now. And then silence. Only the slow, even rhythm of breathing remains. Only the night. only sleep. The room is completely still. The fire has dimmed to a soft, steady glow, casting gentle, shifting shadows across the walls and floor. The old man sits quietly in his chair, leaning back slightly, his presence calm, steady, almost part of the silence itself. He exhales slowly, the sound merging with the soft warmth of the room. No words at first, only the rhythm of his breath, matching the slow, even rise and fall of your own. Sleep, he whispers softly. Does not ask permission. It does not demand. It arrives gently, fully, carrying you into rest without struggle. The children lie motionless. Their breathing deepens and slows. They are already drifting into rest, and you follow weightless along the same quiet current. Think of history, he continues, barely above a whisper, not as events or dates, but as nights like this. Countless people have surrendered to it, and so will you tonight. The room feels heavy with calm. Every sound softens. Even the air itself seems thick with quiet. Your body knows how to rest, he murmurs. It knows how to let go. It has carried generations into sleep. Without worry, without effort. Trust it, follow it. Your muscles relax. Your shoulders drop. Your back sinks deeper into the chair or bed. Your eyelids feel heavy. Your breath grows long, deep, and even. No thought is needed, he whispers. No plan, no tomorrow. Nothing at all. The fire's glow dims further. Shadows flicker and then settle. Time itself seems suspended. You are safe, he murmurs. You are still. You are resting. Sleep now. The old man does not speak again. His presence lingers, calm and reassuring. The room becomes a vessel for stillness, allowing your body and mind to sink fully into quiet. Your thoughts drift like mist, softening, dissolving into the silence. The events of the day float past and vanish. No urgency, no pressure remains. Rest completely, he whispers once more. Let go of everything. The world can wait. Your body sinks further into the blankets or mattress. Each breath slows. Each exhale releases tension. Each inhale brings warmth and safety. The room grows darker. The fire is faint, glowing softly. Your mind floats on the edge of awareness, slipping gradually into dreams. Nothing disturbs you. Nothing interrupts the calm. The old man shifts slightly in his chair. A soft whisper of movement. And then stillness returns. Only silence remains. Only the night. Only sleep. You drift deeper. Into dreams, into rest, into complete stillness. Past, present, and future merge in quiet. The old man leans back fully, letting the night take over. His voice fades completely. You are safe. You are calm. You are asleep. And so the night carries you, gently, completely, into the deepest, most peaceful rest. The old man leans forward slightly, his hands folded over his knees. The fire glows softly, flickering low, casting gentle, elongated shadows across the floor. Not all history, he whispers, is written in wars or crowns. Some of it is quiet, unnoticed, yet it shaped the nights you sleep in today. He glances at the children, their eyes heavy with drowsiness, but still attentive, holding on to the soft cadence of his voice. Centuries ago, in a small village, life was measured not by wealth or power, but by the passing of seasons, by the rhythm of work and rest, by the small, fragile moments of survival. The old man shifts slightly in his chair, leaning back into the worn leather. The villagers did not know about the world beyond their hills. They did not travel far, and yet the entire world moved around them, and sometimes it touched their lives in ways they could not understand. He pauses, letting the quiet stretch. The children in those villages, he continues softly, learned lessons differently. They learned to observe, to listen, to notice the smallest changes in nature, because that could save their lives. The fire crackles faintly, but it is softer now. A gentle heartbeat in the still room. The elders, he whispers, told stories at night, not just for entertainment, but to preserve knowledge. A simple tale could hold a year's worth of wisdom. He leans closer, his voice dropping almost to a whisper. And so the stories continued, passed from mouth to ear, from one generation to the next. Not written down, not recorded in any book, but alive in the memory of those who listened carefully. The children, now almost asleep, rest their heads slightly, but the old man's calm voice carries them deeper. These stories, he says softly, taught caution, kindness, patience. They taught the importance of noticing what others ignored. They taught that survival is often quiet, hidden in details and observation and stillness. He allows the room to breathe, his words spreading slowly, like a gentle fog over the hills outside. Even after centuries, he murmurs, we carry these lessons, not always consciously, but in the way we pause before we act, in the way we observe, in the way we care for one another. The fire glows lower still, shadows folding into the corners. The children's breathing is slow, steady, rhythmic. History, he says quietly, does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it teaches you to sleep, to rest, to survive quietly, and to carry those lessons forward, even in times of peace. He leans back fully now, eyes half closed, voice fading. The world outside may be loud, but here in this room, it is always calm, always safe, always quiet. The fire hums softly, the room warm and still. Breathing slows further, mind drifting deeper. Rest now, he whispers finally, and remember the quiet lessons of those who came before you. You are safe. You are calm. You are sleeping. The old man sits back in his chair, his hands resting lightly on his knees. The fire casts a soft golden glow, filling the room with warmth and gentle shadows. Not every story of the past is loud, he whispers. Not every event demands attention. Many lives are shaped by quiet moments, by decisions so small they almost go unnoticed, yet they echo for generations. He glances at the children, their eyes heavy, almost closed, their breathing slow and steady. In a distant town, he continues softly, people once measured their lives by the simple rhythm of work and rest. The baker rose before dawn. The blacksmith's hammer rang through the day. The children learned by watching, absorbing knowledge from those who had lived before them. He pauses, letting the silence stretch. The most important lessons were rarely spoken aloud. They were learned through observation. How the wind changed the smell of rain, how the river shifted after storms, how illness spread quietly among neighbors. The fire crackles softly, almost a whisper, mirroring the gentle cadence of his voice. Stories, he says gently, were the vessels of memory. A single tale could hold the wisdom of a lifetime. One carefully told story could save lives, even without charts, books, or maps. He leans slightly forward, voice barely audible. And so each evening children gathered. They listened not just to hear, but to remember. Every detail mattered. Every lesson was preserved through attention, patience, and quiet care. The children in the room breathe evenly, their bodies soft, sinking deeper into comfort. The past survives in whispers, the old man murmurs, in stories that flow from one generation to the next. You do not always see them, but they shape how you think, how you move, how you rest. He lets the pause stretch longer, allowing the words to settle, allowing the room to absorb the calm. Even now, he says softly, your life carries fragments of those quiet lessons. You may not recognize them, but they guide your actions, your thoughts, even your ability to find peace at night. The fire dims further, its warmth soft but steady. The shadows fold gently into the corners. History does not always demand action, he whispers. Sometimes it simply teaches stillness, patience, and calm. It reminds you that quiet vigilance and careful attention can sustain life more than heroics ever could. The children's breathing slows further, their minds drifting into dreams. Even the old man's voice becomes softer. almost a hum blending into the quiet. Tonight, he murmurs, you are surrounded by lessons of the past. They are gentle. They are protective. They are guiding you into sleep. The room feels safe. The air still. The fire's glow soft and constant. You are resting, he whispers. You are safe. You are calm. You are sleeping. And with that, the old man leans back fully, letting the room, the night, and the quiet carry everyone deeper, into peace, into rest, into sleep. The old man shifts slightly in his chair, his hands resting loosely in his lap. The fire's glow is soft, almost golden, casting long, fluid shadows that sway gently along the walls. History, he whispers, is not always loud or clear. Much of it hides in silence, in the quiet movements of people who lived and survived, without ever being remembered by name. The children lie almost completely still, their breath slow even, their minds already drifting into calm, suspended somewhere between the moment and the next. In a distant land long ago, he continues, villagers lived by rhythms no one wrote down. They rose with the sun, worked in fields or workshops, shared meals, repaired homes, cared for neighbors, and at night they rested fully, completely. Their lives were simple, but each choice carried weight. For the family, the village, the seasons to come. He pauses, letting the soft silence stretch. The lessons of these quiet lives were never recorded in books. They were observed, remembered, and passed along, through stories told by firelight, through gestures, through example. The fire crackles softly, echoing the gentle cadence of his voice, a slow, rhythmic sound that blends with the children's steady breathing. Every whispered story, every careful action, carried wisdom forward. Even the smallest acts, a shared loaf of bread, a repaired roof, a word of caution, helped generations survive, even without recognition. He leans back slightly, eyes half closed. Your world today is different, he murmurs. Faster, louder, filled with distraction. But the quiet lessons remain. You may not see them, but they are in the way you pause, in the way you notice, in the way you care for the small, unseen details of life. The children's breathing slows further, their bodies soft, completely at ease. Even the old man's whispers seem to merge into the room, becoming part of the still air, part of the calm that holds them. History, he says gently, teaches patience. It teaches attentiveness. It teaches how to find peace, even when the world outside is restless, even when events are uncertain, even when tomorrow is unknown. The fire dims further, its warmth steady but faint. Shadows stretch and fold, softening every edge in the room. Tonight, the old man whispers, you are surrounded by these quiet lessons. They protect you. They guide you. They allow you to rest. He leans back fully now, closing his eyes for a moment. The children breathe steadily. The fire glows softly. You are safe, he whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. And with that, the room drifts into stillness. The fire hums softly, and the night carries everyone deeper, into dreams, into peace, into the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep. The fire burns low now, its golden glow folding into the corners of the room. The old man sits quietly, his back against the chair, his hands resting loosely in his lap. His presence is steady, calm, a gentle anchor in the stillness. Not all history is written in ink or stone, he whispers. Much of it lives in quiet moments, in the way people survived, endured, and cared for one another, without recognition, without fame. The children lie still, their breathing slow and even, their minds softening, drifting. Each exhale carries away the weight of the day. Each inhale brings a gentle warmth. In the past, he continues softly, villages thrived not through grandeur, but through attentiveness, a simple act of observation, a careful tending of crops, a shared word or gesture could carry the balance of life for a family, for a season, for generations. The fire crackles faintly, but its sound is subdued, a gentle companion to his soft voice. Stories were told not to entertain, but to preserve understanding, to pass wisdom from one generation to the next. Even the smallest lesson mattered. Every careful act shaped survival. He leans forward slightly, voice barely above a whisper. The past survives in quiet ways, in habits, in observation, in the small choices that ripple through time. You carry them within you. In the way you pause, in the way you notice, in the way you rest tonight. The room feels heavier with calm, yet lighter in spirit, as if each shadow, each flicker of the fire, is a soft embrace holding the sleepers. Even in times of uncertainty, he murmurs, the lessons of patience and attentiveness remain. They teach us how to find peace, how to rest fully, completely, even when tomorrow is unknown. The children breathe deeper, their bodies soft, surrendered. The old man's voice floats into the still air, gentle, fading, merging with the calm of the room. Tonight, he says softly, you are surrounded by these quiet lessons. They are not loud, but they guide you. They protect you. They allow you to rest fully. The fire dims further, its glow steady but faint. Shadows stretch slowly, folding into the corners of the room. You are safe, he whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. He leans back fully, eyes half closed, his words fading entirely into the room. The children breathe slowly, evenly, their bodies and minds sinking deeper into calm. The room becomes still. The fire hums softly. The night wraps around everything, carrying everyone gently, completely, into dreams, into peace, into the deep, slow rhythm of sleep. The room is quiet now. The fire a soft amber glow, casting gentle, shifting shadows along the walls and floor. The old man leans slightly back in his chair, hands resting loosely on his knees, eyes half closed, voice barely above a whisper. Much of history, he murmurs, is invisible. It happens in quiet acts, in moments that leave no record, in the small choices that guide survival, and the soft lessons passed from one generation to the next. The children lie still, their breath slow even, bodies soft and relaxed. Each inhale carries warmth. Each exhale releases tension. In old villages, the old man continues softly, life was measured not by wealth or power, but by rhythm. The sun rose and set. Work was done. Meals were shared. Lessons were learned by watching, by listening, by observing the small details that ensured life continued. He pauses, letting the stillness fill the room. The stories told at night were not always of kings or battles. They were stories of survival, of care, of caution. Every lesson was preserved in whispers, in gestures, in attentiveness, so that children would grow to understand the world, without ever reading a single word. The fire crackles faintly. It sounds soft, companionable, matching the gentle cadence of his voice. Even now, he whispers, you carry fragments of these quiet lessons. They shape how you pause, how you notice, how you rest, even in a world that is loud and fast. The children's breathing deepens. The old man's voice becomes softer still, almost merging with the gentle hum of the night. Patience, attentiveness, care, he murmurs. These are the true lessons of history. Not glory, not fame, not power, but quiet understanding, soft wisdom, and the ability to find calm amidst uncertainty. The fire dims further, shadows folding into corners. The room is heavy with peace, yet light in spirit. Tonight, he whispers, you are surrounded by these lessons. They protect you. They guide you. They allow you to rest fully, completely. He leans back fully now, eyes closing, voice fading. The children breathe evenly, deeply, their bodies surrendered to calm. The room itself feels suspended in time. Even the faint flicker of the fire seems to pause. You are safe, he murmurs. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. And then silence. Only the steady rhythm of breathing remains. Only the warmth of the room. Only the gentle darkness. The night carries everyone further, deeper into dreams, into complete peace, into the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep. The room is heavy with stillness. The fire glows faintly, its warmth gentle and constant. The old man sits in his chair, almost motionless, hands resting loosely in his lap. His eyes are half closed, his voice soft, barely more than a breath. History, he whispers, is carried not only in words or books, but in quiet actions, in the soft rhythm of life that has endured for centuries. People lived, observed, learned, and passed knowledge on without fanfare, without notice. The children lie still, their breathing slow, deep, and even. Their bodies melt into the blankets, their minds already drifting between wakefulness and dreams. In villages long ago, he continues softly, people rose with the sun, worked with their hands, tended to animals, crops, and each other. They shared knowledge quietly, through stories, gestures, and example. Every small act mattered. Every careful observation preserved life. He pauses, letting the room absorb the calm. The stories told by firelight, he murmurs, were not always grand tales of kings or battles. They were lessons of patience, caution, and survival. They taught how to notice what others overlooked, how to act carefully, and how to rest fully when the day was done. The fire crackles softly, matching the rhythm of his gentle words, a comforting presence in the quiet room. Even now, he whispers, you carry these lessons within you. They guide how you pause, how you observe, how you care for small unseen details. And tonight they guide you into rest, into deep, complete sleep. The children's breathing deepens further, their bodies fully relaxed, their minds softening into calm. The past, he continues, does not always shout. It whispers and teaches in quiet ways. It teaches patience, attentiveness, and the ability to find peace, even when the world outside is restless. The fire dims further, its glow soft and steady. Shadows stretch and fold into the corners of the room, softening every edge. You are safe, the old man whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. He leans back fully, allowing the night to carry everyone into stillness. His voice fades completely, merging with the gentle rhythm of the room. The children breathe evenly, deeply, their bodies surrendered to peace. The room holds them warm and safe, filled with quiet, steady, enduring calm. Time seems to pause. The night wraps around everything, carrying all into dreams, into deep sleep, into complete gentle rest. And in that silence, nothing exists but peace. Nothing moves but slow, even breathing. And nothing remains but the night and the deep, soft rhythm of sleep. The room is still heavy with calm. The fire glows faintly, a soft amber light, its warmth spreading gently across the floorboards. The old man leans back in his chair, hands resting lightly on his knees, his presence a quiet anchor in the night. History, he whispers, is rarely loud. It is often carried in small acts, in gentle choices, in moments of quiet courage that go unnoticed. These are the things that endure, long after names are forgotten. The children lie motionless, breathing deep and slow, their bodies soft, their minds beginning to drift into the gentle waves of sleep. In distant villages, he continues softly, life moved by simple rhythms. People rose with the sun, worked through the day, tended to fields, animals, families, and rested fully at night. Wisdom was passed not in books, but through stories, gestures, and observation. Even the smallest act could carry lessons for generations. The fire crackles quietly, a subtle echo of his gentle cadence, soft as the night air. Stories were more than tales, he murmurs. They were instructions for survival. They taught patience, attentiveness, and care. They preserved knowledge of the land, the seasons, and the relationships that kept communities alive. Even a single story told correctly could save a life. He pauses, letting the words settle. allowing the room to absorb the calm. The past survives in quiet ways, he whispers, in habits, in observation, in attentiveness, in the way generations notice what others might miss. You carry these lessons, even unknowingly. They guide your rest tonight, your calm, your breath. The children's breathing slows further, their bodies fully surrendered to peace. The old man's voice becomes softer, almost merging with the faint hum of the fire. Patience, attention, and care, he says, are the true inheritances of history. Not fame, not power, but quiet wisdom that preserves life and brings rest to those who listen. The fire dims lower still, casting long, gentle shadows that fold into the corners. The room is calm, warm, and safe. You are safe, he whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. He leans back fully, closing his eyes, letting the room, the night, and the quiet carry everyone deeper. The children breathe evenly, deeply, their minds softening, drifting into the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep. The room holds them, warm, still, serene, filled with enduring quiet, carrying all into dreams, into deep sleep, into complete restful peace. And in that silence, nothing exists but the night. Nothing moves but soft, even breathing, and nothing remains but calm and the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep. The room is heavy with quiet. The fire glows low, soft, and steady, its amber light folding into shadows that stretch across the floor. The old man sits in his chair, hands resting loosely on his knees, his posture calm, almost as if he is part of the stillness itself. History is often invisible, he whispers, found in the small, careful acts of people long gone, the choices they made quietly, the moments they observed, the lessons they shared without words. These shape everything you feel tonight. The children lie still, their breaths long, slow even, their minds drifting gently toward sleep. Every exhale carries tension away. Every inhale brings warmth and safety. In villages long ago, he continues softly, people rose with the sun, worked with their hands, cared for animals, fields, and each other. They learned through observation, through quiet attention, through stories told beside fires that flickered like this one. He pauses, letting the silence stretch, allowing the room to absorb the calm. The stories were not always of kings or battles. They were tales of patience, of carefulness, of endurance. One small act, one whispered instruction, could preserve life for years to come. The fire crackles faintly, a soft companion to his gentle voice. Even now, he whispers, these lessons remain within you. They guide your pauses, your attention, your rest. They remind you to breathe, to notice, to care for what is small and unseen. The children breathe slower, their bodies soft, relaxed, almost weightless. The past does not always shout, he murmurs. It teaches in whispers. It guides without force, protects without notice, and shows how to find peace. Even in a restless world, the fire dims further, its light a soft glow, steady and warm. Shadows stretch, folding gently into the corners. You are safe, he whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. He leans back fully, closing his eyes, letting the night, the room, and the silence carry everyone deeper. The children breathe evenly, deeply, their minds drifting, their bodies melting into warmth. The room itself holds them, quiet, serene, protective. Time slows. The night wraps everything in calm. The slow, gentle rhythm of sleep guides all. Nothing moves but breathing. Nothing remains but quiet. Nothing exists but warmth, safety, and rest. The old man's whispers fade completely, blending into the room, into the fire, into the night. And the night carries all, gently, completely, into dreams, into deep sleep, into peaceful, endless calm. The room is bathed in a dim, amber glow. The fire flickers softly, casting gentle shadows that sway slowly across the walls and floor. The old man sits quietly in his chair, hands resting loosely in his lap, his body relaxed, his presence calm and steady. Much of history, he whispers, is hidden in quiet actions, in the care given unnoticed, in the patience of those who observed, who waited, who learned without speaking. These small choices ripple through time, shaping lives, shaping nights like this one. The children lie almost motionless, breathing slow even, bodies sinking deeper into warmth, minds drifting gently toward rest. In distant villages, he continues softly, people followed rhythms dictated by the sun, the seasons, the needs of the land. They rose with the morning light, worked through the day, tended fields, animals, and each other. Every careful observation mattered. Every gentle lesson was a thread in the fabric of survival. He pauses, letting the silence settle over the room. The stories told at night, he murmurs, were not always grand or loud. They carried the wisdom of patience, of observation, of noticing the smallest details that could change the course of a life. Even a single whispered story could preserve generations. The fire hums softly, its crackle blending with the gentle cadence of his voice. Even now, he whispers, these lessons live within you. They guide your pauses, your attention, your ability to rest. They teach how to care for what is unseen, how to breathe fully, how to let go into sleep. The children breathe deeper, their bodies completely relaxed, their minds softening into calm. The past does not always demand action, he murmurs. It teaches through whispers. It guides, protects, and shows the way to peace. Even when the world outside is restless or uncertain, the fire dims further, its light a soft, constant glow. Shadows stretch and fold into the corners, softening every edge in the room. You are safe, he whispers. You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping. He leans back fully, allowing the night to carry everyone into stillness. His voice fades completely, merging with the quiet rhythm of the room. The children breathe evenly, deeply, their bodies surrendered to peace. The room holds them, quiet, warm, and protective. Time slows. The night wraps everything gently, carrying all into dreams, into deep, soft sleep, into complete calm rest. Nothing moves but breathing. Nothing remains but stillness. Nothing exists but warmth, safety, and peace. And the old man leans back fully, his presence blending into the room, allowing the night and sleep to take over completely. The room is still. The fire has dimmed to a soft, almost imperceptible glow, casting shadows that melt into the corners, blurring every edge, every line. The old man leans back fully in his chair, hands resting loosely, body calm, completely at ease. Tonight, he whispers, you carry nothing but quiet. The past has settled. The day has passed. The world outside waits, but you are safe here, in this gentle, steady calm. The children breathe deeply, evenly, their bodies fully relaxed. They are almost weightless, floating somewhere between awareness and dreams. History, the old man murmurs softly, is found in whispers, in careful observation, in the patience of those who lived and endured. Every small act, every quiet lesson, has carried forward to this very night, guiding you into rest, into peace. The fire crackles faintly, but even its sound is soft, a gentle rhythm in the stillness. Do not struggle, he whispers. Do not fight the quiet. Let it take you fully. Let it carry you where dreams wait. You need nothing more. You are safe. You are still. You are resting. The room becomes almost weightless, filled with the warmth of the fire, the presence of the old man, and the endless calm of night. Breathe slowly, he murmurs. Feel your body soften, your mind melt into quiet. Nothing exists outside this room. Nothing matters beyond this calm. You are held. You are safe. The children's breathing deepens further, their bodies completely surrendered to rest. The shadows on the walls fold and settle, and the room feels infinite in its stillness. Sleep, he whispers, is the oldest companion. It has carried generations, and now it carries you. Every muscle relaxes. Every thought drifts away. The room hums with the gentle rhythm of night. the steady, soft cadence of breath, and the quiet heartbeat of calm. "You are safe," the old man whispers one last time. "You are calm. You are resting. You are sleeping." The fire dims completely, its glow replaced by the soft darkness of night. The old man leans back, eyes closed, fully at peace, his voice fading into silence. The children breathe evenly, their minds drifting, their bodies weightless, and the night carries all into deep sleep. Time dissolves. Everything softens. Nothing remains but warmth, peace, and rest. The world waits, but here, in this room, nothing exists but calm, and the slow, gentle rhythm of sleep. And with that, the night embraces everyone completely. And